Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to set up the tool rack. So we're going to be able to pick and also place the tool so that we're able to utilize the correct one each time. So the first thing we want to do is let's set up a home program. So I'm going to go to my teach and we'll add teach program, and I'm just going to call this home. To initialize. And because it is a motion, we don't have to worry about editing everything. So I'm going to do new instruction, and I'm going to go through my frames. So we're going to use offset frames. We're going to just use the no frame for now. We can go back and change it. Now we're not going to put a tool frame in here because we have 3 separate different tools. If we put a tool frame in here, that means that we would have to make a home for each one of those tools. So we're going to leave that open and allow us to go home even though we have a different tool each time. So what I'm going to do is add a couple lines here. Number 3, I'm going to just go add move point, and we're going to do a joint movement. And we already have a position register already set up. So we're going to go choice, position register number 1, which should be home. Now if it highlights it with red, that means we don't have one set up already. So let's actually go to data and let's check out our registers. So position register, right now we don't have a position register. So let's set this up and let's call this home. We'll double click in here and we'll go home, enter. And let's go home with this robot. So let's go position, and we're going to just do a joint movement. And we'll go 0, 0, 0, 0, -90, and then 0 again, which should bring us directly to the front as so. Let's close this out and go shift record. And now we have our position register recorded for our home position. Let's go back to edit. Everything is now set up. So we now have our home position all set up. So let's actually go to the run. So cycle start, hit the down arrow. Let's go to run configuration. And we're going to set up one so that it automatically goes to home. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go user defined. And I'm going to just call this home. And we're going to run the home program. Hit apply. So now if we go to number 2, it'll automatically home our robot. And notice how it doesn't matter which gripper it is on, it automatically goes to the homer. And if it's a suction, if it's the gripper, if it's the caulk gun, it doesn't matter. It'll still go to this position because we did not set a tool frame up. So now let's start setting up our tool rack. So let's go turn off shift. Let's go select. And let's go create. So all of my items are going to have tool in the beginning. So we're going to go tool, and this is going to be my caulk pick. There will be motion because we're moving to it, so we're not going to mess anything with the motion groups. So let's go right to our edit. And once again, let's add our frames. So we're still going to be utilizing frame 0. Now we can set up a register for this if we want to change all the user frames to everything, but we're going to just use the world frame right now, which simulation program here utilizes 0. So I'm going to add a few lines. So let's go edit command, insert. Let's go say 15 lines of code so that we can jump between them and leave plenty of spaces in between to make sure that coding is a lot easier to do. So the first thing we're going to do is for our tool caulk pickup, we're going to be utilizing a pickup. So when we're picking up, that means we're not going to have any sort of tooling associated to that. So we're only going to be utilizing the normal pick or the normal tool. So if I go down here and go to tooling, no EOT is going to be our normal. So let's go U frame number 0, and we're also going to have the tool frame 1. Tool frame constant 1, which is just our head that allows us to pick up multiple different other heads. So we have U frame 0, U tool number 1. Then what we're going to do is we're going to set up a couple offsets for our tools. So let's go new instructions, registers, and we're going to go register equal to. So we're going to go position register. We're going to use number 3, and that's going to be our tool offset. We'll set that up after we get down here. And then we're going to go 1. And then we're going to make this 0 because we're going to utilize our tool offsets a lot. Then we're going to go new instruction, registers equal to, and we're going to use position register number 3, and then we're going to use the Y component, and the Y component we're going to set as 0 as well. Then we're going to go new instruction, registers equal to, and we're going to use position register number 3, and we're going to utilize the Z component, and the Z component we're going to make as an offset of 200. So we're just setting up the position register number 3 to allow us to do a tool offset. So let's actually go to data, and here's position register number 3, and we're going to call this tool offset. And I'm going to go shift record on this. And right now this is recorded, so if we want to go in here, let's actually go inside, which is go position, and let's just make these 0. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And this will get overran when we actually run this program. So let's go to edit. So as soon as this program runs, it's going to set our Z component to 200. So now what we want to do is move our EOT head to the position of the caulk gun. So let's go under the machines, find the tool rack, hit the plus next to it, find caulk, double click caulk, and we're going to go to parts. And if you remember, we set up the Mower EOAT head, and I call it EOT head just for short. Let's bring the caulk gun up. So let's go to the motion and let's bring it up. So controller number 1, go test, which brings it up. Then let's go to the parts, click the Mower EOAT head, and then move 2, and it'll move to this position. Now let's save this as a position register, and we'll go position register number 10. So let's go to data and find position register number 10, and we'll call this tool rack, and then we'll go caulk. Enter, and let's go shift record. So now this position is now recorded. So it's very easy to set up that Mower EOAT head with when we set up that part. So now we're in that position. So now let's go back to our program. And now we want to move to this position. So we're going to do a add movement. We're going to do a joint movement to this position. And we're going to use position register number 10, which is our tool rack. And we're going to have an offset. So we want to move to this position, but away from here. So we're going to go to the end, and we're going to go tool offset, position register, and we're going to use position register number 3, which is our tool offset. Then once we're in that position, we want a linear to connect with this. So we're going to add move point. We're going to do a linear movement, and let's change this to a slower speed of 500. It doesn't have to be as slow, like 100 millimeters per second. That's really, really slow. But we're going to use position register number 10, which is our tool caulk. So we're going to move to the position 200 millimeters away, and then we're going to linear directly into the caulk gun at 500 millimeters per second. Then what we're going to do is we're going to wait a few seconds to allow it to do whatever it needs to do. So we're going to new instruction. We're going to wait, and let's wait like about a quarter of a second. So we're going to wait a quarter of a second. Then what we're going to do is we're going to switch U tools, offset frames, U tool, and we're going to use U tool number 3, which is our caulk. So we're going to switch U tool. We're going to wait a few seconds. And then what we need to do is we need that caulk to disappear. So we're going to do a new instruction. We're going to do a digital out. And we set up a digital number 2, which is our caulk gun. And we're going to turn that off. So while we're in here, let's actually go inside. Let's go IO and go to type, digital. And let's actually call these items. So digital number 2 is going to be our caulk gun. So let's go over, let's go to detail, and let's call this caulk. And then this one is going to be our suction. And then this one's going to be our gripper. Caulk, suction, and gripper. So that we have those names. So let's go back to the edit. So now we have it as caulk. Now to make sure that caulk is already there, that U-tool has enough time to turn on before this disappears, let's add a little bit of time here. So let's go insert one line, and let's do another wait of 1/4 of a second, and that just allows that U-tool to actually turn on before we turn off that caulk gun and make it disappear. So let's do wait, and we're going to wait 1/4 of a second. So now we have our caulk gun, and now what we want to do is wait for that caulk gun to disappear. So we're going to go a wait, and we're going to wait equal to for the digital input, and we have that set up as number 4, which is going to be caulk gun gone, and that's going to be on. Caulk gun gone. So let's actually go in there again, and let's go to now the inputs, and let's go to digital 3 and digital 4, which is our caulk gun. So digital 3, let's go to configure or detail, and digital 3 is going to be our present. Digital 4 is going to be caulk gone. Caulk present, caulk gone. This one's going to be our suction present, suction gone. So let's actually set all these up right away while we're here. And the last one is going to be the gripper. Present, gone, present, gone, present, gone. So let's go back to the program, and now you'll see caulk gun gone. So wait till that's completely gone, and then we're going to wait 1 second, just allow everything to do whatever it needs to do. So we're going to just wait 1 second, 1 full second, and then we are going to linear to outside position. So I'm going to insert maybe a couple more lines here. So I'm going to add 2 more lines, and I'm going to move down. So once we have that, we are now going to linear out. So we're going to linear out to the position register number 10 with the offset again. So we're going to add an offset. Now let's change this. We don't have to have that slow pace. We're going to go 500 again. And let's do that tool offset. So arrow over, and we're going to go tool offset, position register number 3, which is our tool offset. So let's run this, see what it looks like. First I'm going to run the home program. So when we go home, I'm going to move over to the position. And right now we don't have other programs set up. So right now the tool is not actually here. So let's make sure that this works the way it's supposed to. So let's make sure the tool is present. So we're going to add a few more lines of command. So we're going to go edit command, and I'm going to insert maybe 4 lines here. And here we're going to do new instruction, digital, and we're going to go digital number 2, which is our caulk. And we're going to turn that on. So it's going to be present. So then we're going to do that wait. So we're going to wait equal to, and wait number, digital input number 3 is on. So caulk is on. So now when I run this program, that caulk gun will actually be present on our tool rack. So let's run the caulk gun pickup. So let's switch this to number 1, and then you'll see there's our caulk gun, moves out, in, picks up, moves out with it, and now our program is now done. And you can see we are plenty of distance away from that tool rack. So now we have our first tool pickup done. So now let's move on to the next one, which is going to be our suction pickup. So I'm going to just go to select, and right here's tool caulk pickup. So I'm going to duplicate this. Now you can duplicate this 1 or 2 ways. If you actually have the teach pendant, then you have to go to here and then copy, or you can copy it over in this position here. So if you go copy, and then here's where you change the name of it. So instead of tool caulk pickup, we're going to go tool suction pickup, and we're going to hit enter on that. Yes, I want to copy. Let's move into that program. So go down to Tool Suction and then Enter. So now we have a lot of things already set up. So we have tool number 1 set up. So that means there's no EOT at the end, just the actual gripper. Then we have the caulk gun. So we want to make sure that it's present. So let's go digital 3 here. Let's turn the teach pendant on. 3. And that's going to be our suction. So the suction is going to be 5 and 6. So 5 will be our digital input so that it's on. So suction present. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do a position register for the suction. So let's turn the suction on and then move to that position. So let's go to our end of arm tool and just number 1. Let's go down to suction, double click it, brings up our suction, and let's move the suction up into position. So go to motion, number 1, test, brings it up to position. Then we're going to go to parts, mower EOAT, head, move to. Now we're to that position. Now we'll save that position register. So let's go to data, and this one is going to be tool rack suction. Shift record. Now that position is recorded. So let's close out of there. Let's go back to the program. And here we're going to now joint movement to number 11, which is the tool rack suction. And then with the tool offset of 3, and we just resetted that tool offset, so everything is now good. And let's go down the line. So position register number 11, we're going to linear to that suction. Then we're going to change the tool number to number 2, which is suction, and then we're going to turn the suction off, so number 3, which is our suction, and then we are waiting till number 6, which is suction gone. Waiting that time. So all we're doing is we're changing the position registers for this pickup. Now we're going to have to do a little bit different of a pickup because you can see it's actually resting on this rack. So we can't just go straight back. We actually have to go up. I'm going to delete it. So I'm going to do edit command, delete, and we're going to delete this line. Yes. Turn off shift. There we go. So now all we had to do is just change some position registers and some digital outputs to get to this point, and now we can add on to our program. So let's actually switch this to our world mode, and let's move this up in position. So I'm going to go up. Now you can see it doesn't look like we're actually grabbing anything because the tool is not set. Right now you just see the mock tool. So let's go to suction. Now you will see the suction turned on. And we just want to make sure that we are away from that part. So let's go to the coordinate. Let's make sure we're on world mode again. And we can go to that position and we're going to move it up just enough so that we are out of the way. Looks like we're out of the way. So I'm going to go add move point. We're going to linear straight up here. And we're going to linear at a slower pace, which is about 200. And then what we want to do is we want to linear back that 200 millimeters. So then I'm going to move this back, and I'm going to go negative 200, enter. So now we are away from that tool rack. So now we're going to go to end here, add move point. We're going to linear to this position at 500 millimeters per second. So we have position 2 now at that speed. So if we want to run this, let's go back to EOAT. Let's run the home program. There we go. So run the home program, and now what we want to do is run the program that we have here. So we go to number 1, suction warps in, comes in, grabs, goes up, and then back. Perfect. So now everything is set up. Now, if you do not want to see this actual mower deck here, let's go into that end of arm tooling suction and go to parts. And this is the finished deck assembly. We can turn this off at teach time. Hit apply. So now the teach time is off. mower deck, we can click here and we can turn off visibility at teach time as well. Hit OK, and now those two are gone. So now we can actually see what we're doing. So now we have that done with the suction pickup. Now let's create the last one, which is going to be our tool gripper pickup. So I'm going to actually copy the caulk one again. So I'm going to go to select, and I'm going to go to the caulk one, arrow over, and I'm going to copy. And this one is going to be my gripper. Yes, I want to copy. Let's go into that gripper. All right, so everything is good. Same tool frame, same offsets. Everything is good for that. And we want to make sure that our gripper is now on. So our gripper is going to be digital number 4. Here's our gripper. So that means we're going to be utilizing 7 and 8. So 7 will be gripper present. Okay, so now let's move this to our position. So let's go to turn off the suction tool and go back just to our normal tool with no head. Let's go down to gripper, double click that. Move the gripper in place. Let's go to motion, click robot controller number 1, test, moves it into place. Then go to parts, EOAT head, move to, and let's save that position register. So let's go to data, and then here is going to be tool rack, gripper. Shift record. Record is all good. Close that out, and let's go back to the program. And then let's change the position registers to the correct ones. So number 12 with the offset, all good. Move into the actual position 12. Then we are going to wait that time. We're going to turn on the correct tool, which is number 4. Wait the correct time, and then we're going to utilize the caulk, which is number 4, or the gripper, which is number 4, and then we're going to utilize digital input number 8, which is gripper gone. So gripper gone is number 8, and that needs to be on. Move out, and then we just need to change the linear path of this to number 12, and now we have the correct tool offset outwards. So let's run the home program, making sure that we're in the correct U tool. Run the home program. There's correct home program, and then let's run the number 1 scenario. There's the gripper, and now we have our good grip. So now we have each of the picking set up. Next video we will do the drop off.